Good morning, everyone. Welcome to His Stories. I'm Candy, and this is my friend Kim Turner. And we just want to share a little bit today. Kim's got some stories to share with us, and I hope you'll be blessed by it. Just a little background on Kim and I. We met at a dental office I was working at. I'm a dental hygienist, and I'd been there for 28 years, and Kim had been going there for several years, but I'd never seen her. And so one day she was on my schedule, and we just really hit it off. We clicked, and it was hard to get my work done because we just wanted to talk. So we exchanged information, which you don't always do, the first time you meet someone. And the really crazy thing that just lets me know it was really a God thing that her and I met is that basically, unbeknownst to me, that was my last day working in that office after 28 years. Wow. So we were meant to meet, and now she's just kind of a soul sister of mine, and we Bible study together, and we talk over important things on the phone, and she's just a real blessing to me. So
what was really neat about me coming to you that day is I normally see another hygienist on Thursdays because that's my day off from work, and for some reason we couldn't make that work. They had to reschedule me, and they wanted to make sure that a Monday would be okay. And I said, well, let me check my schedule. I checked it, and I said, yeah, I can probably swing a Monday, even though I'm working that day.
See, he was just working in it.
I came in and, hit it off with Candy, and we just couldn't stop talking about just so many things that God is doing in our lives and in the world. And that was totally a divine appointment, I feel.
Me too.
Because I normally don't go on that day, and I had never seen you there either.
I know, that was weird too, yeah. So anyways,
really neat.
Kim and I've learned a lot about her in a short period of time. We've known each other almost 2 years now. And God works in her life in a lot of really amazing ways. And I think it's because she really seeks Him, and she's very obedient to Him. So we could go into this in a different appointment, but basically she hears from Him in dreams and words of knowledge.
Words of knowledge is probably the most prominent way that I think I hear.
Yeah. So anyways, Kim's got a few stories. I'm letting her pick which one to tell today. So go ahead and tell your story, Kim.
Okay, sure. So the story I'm going to tell you today is just about obedience, really. My husband and I moved here from New York, and this happened a long time ago, this story. It happened probably in the late 1990s, and we had incurred some debt before we moved out here from New York, and I didn't know, how we were going to pay this debt. And when we moved out to California, I just had a sense in my spirit that, if I'm obedient, if I truly, am giving in a way that I know God, is pleased with, that maybe somehow, I can pray in this way and ask God, can you help us get out of debt? And so my husband's a teacher, and I prayed at the beginning of the year when he was first starting to teach, and this is, he's a teacher in the state of California, and he works with special ed and regular kids, and he loves his job. And teachers, their salary is sometimes meager,
Right.
So we didn't have extra money to put towards credit card debt. And I'll share the amount. It was about $8,700, and we normally don't incur that kind of debt. We're faithful to pay off credit cards and whatnot, but with the move and just circumstances, it ended up coming out to $8,700 that I'm not comfortable having on credit cards. That can spiral quickly. And so the beginning of this particular year, I prayed, Lord, I don't want this debt anymore. Please take it from us. I don't know how, and I don't know when, and I don't know anything about how to proceed, but I'm just going to ask. I'm going to be bold enough to ask you, can you help us? And then I went a little bit step further, and I said, and can it be by the end of this year? So this was January, the beginning of the year. I wish I remembered the year. It was, like I said, maybe 2000, I'm going to probably say. And I felt like if I was to give, I think there were some things that, as I was praying, I felt in my spirit that was an affirmative, yes, I'm able to do this, and I'm willing to do this. But my portion of it was, when I tell you to give, here's your part. Give where I tell you to give.
What you felt the Lord was telling you.
Correct.
Don't just hold back everything. Continue to be giving.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, yes, I'm asking for you to get me out of debt, but yet it's just kind of that law of reciprocity. You kind of give to get. It's better to give than receive, kind of thing. And so I felt like I heard that portion for me. So I said, yes, I will. Wherever you tell me to give, I will give, and even to the amount. So it's January, and I'm praying daily, and I a lot of times would be impressed upon, hey, this ministry here is a good place to give, and $50 here, and I would write a check, send it in. Months will go by, hey, this is another really good ministry that I think you should give to, and I did, and here's the amount. I would write a check, send it in. This family over here is struggling a little bit, maybe give them a meal or a gift card to get groceries or something like that. And so I didn't waffle, and I didn't wax and wane on those things. I mean, I did it immediately. So here we are, fast forwarding through the months, I'm getting, give here, and I would give. And it's now getting closer, end of September into October, and I'm not seeing anything. Our debt is still the same. There's no extra money coming in. I'm starting to think, am I hearing correctly?
Right.
What's happening here? I just really kept faithful and was just more diligent in saying, no, it's still October. I've got a couple more months at the end of this year, so I'm just going to keep my hand to this plow, and I'm going to keep doing what you tell me to do, because as long as there's still several months left, or a couple months left, I know that things can change. So Gray Davis was the governor at the time, and this is the only time that I ever recollect in California that a governor was incentivizing schools to improve on their test scores. And in doing so, he said, depending on where your school baseline is, if your school improves on their state test scores by so many points, we will give each teacher a bonus. And there were certain levels of bonuses, mind you. So there was, $2,500, $5,000, and $10,000. So if you really improved and you made it to that third tier, every teacher in that school would get that high-level bonus.
Okay.
And, there was a $5,000. So here I thought, well, that's pretty neat. And I thought, well, how many schools there are in California?
Right.
What are the chances of my husband's school getting so, getting those kinds of scores that they would receive a bonus?
And he's at a school that has a lot of challenges, right? Beyond the normal.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he is at a very challenging school. A lot of behavioral troubled kids that come from, some challenging circumstances. And
Okay.
so there's that too. And their test scores are not that great. And historically, they've not been that great. But this year, they took those tests, and those kids scored what would be the second tiered level for $5,000 bonus.
Okay.
We were shocked. We said, oh my goodness, your school did that well? We were excited. And I thought, but wait a minute, and this is November now. That's only $5,000, Lord. I have $8,700 worth of debt. But I'll take it, because that came out of the blue. I was excited. My husband was just, wow, oh my goodness, that was so unexpected.
Right.
And so we were thinking we would be receiving that check soon, and I would put it towards that debt, and then some other way the remainder would come in. Well, come to find out, the school got a call from the state to say, wait a minute, we made a mistake. Your test scores were better than we originally scored them.
Yeah.
They actually scored so much higher. You guys are eligible for the highest bonus, which was $10,000.
Yeah.
So before we issue that $5,000 check, you're gonna have to wait a little bit more, but we will issue the $10,000 bonus to your teachers because
Wow.
your kids actually scored better than we thought originally.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am just blown away thinking that never happens, number one.
Right.
When does the state want to give you more money? I mean,
Right.
they could have easily just said, well, we made a mistake. Oh, well, nobody will know.
Right.
And so it's December. The check comes in December, 12th month of the year. Not our agreement. It was just more or less obedience. It was like, Lord, I am bold enough to ask you for this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do my part in obeying, and I'm trusting you that you'll do your part as well. I'm just giving it to you, and I didn't even know how it would come. $10,000 came. By the time, and they took taxes out of that, so it wasn't like a $10,000 check with no taxes taken out. So by the time taxes were taken out, and we tithed on that money, it was $8,700.
Oh my gosh.
And I took
That's
that
amazing.
check and gladly wrote it off, and
Yeah.
my husband and I just sat in utter awe of what God did that year for us
It's amazing.
in just, trusting him at his word,
Mm-hmm.
obeying his
Mm-hmm.
voice and his leading,
Yeah.
and seeing the fruit of that and being rewarded
Mm-hmm.
for our faith
Is
and
that-
for our trust and for our obedience.
Right. Does that impact you now as far as how you are with your credit and things like that? I mean,
Absolutely. So since that incident, I feel I just do not struggle with finances anymore. I feel like Christians shouldn't struggle with finances if they are truly, walking out their faith the best way they know how.
so do you not accrue debt anymore, or yeah?
No.
So it
Since
changed
then, we have never allowed that to be the
Mhm.
case. We were so thankful and so grateful. I
Right.
didn't want to ever get back in that
So
situation.
see that's probably part of it, because the Lord knew your heart, that you had that heart, and that
Yeah.
you wouldn't go right back into it again. Because if you went right out and charged up a bunch of stuff, then
Yeah,
it wouldn't
no.
have been for His glory, which it
Correct.
was, because you altered your behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so neat, and I'm reminded, and
I know I was thinking of a verse too.
Yeah, in Samuel, 1 Samuel 15:22 says, and this is the King James Version, and Samuel said, "Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to
Mhm.
hearken than the fat of rams."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd written down, God is working, Philippians 2:13, God is working in you, giving you the desire to obey Him and the power to do what pleases Him.
That's a good one.
So
too.
through that,
Yes.
you had the desire, and then He gave you the power to please Him, and then you continued to do that.
And the
So-
fact that I even had the extra money to obey with
Mm-hmm.
was remarkable.
Yeah.
I never felt like it impacted
Right.
my
Along the
monthly,
way.
expenses.
Yeah,
I felt,
it's the giving freely,
Yes.
and then you'll receive.
yes,
Yeah.
it's miraculous how that
Mhm.
happens. You think, well, I don't have much to give, I need to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And paying more seemed to
Right.
reciprocate more back. And
It's like,
it was amazing.
Someone I listen to sometimes is Julie Green, and she's talked about in some prayer services where they're praying over people, and her oil that they anoint people with on their forehead refills. Like she's seen it go down and refill in the service. It's God can do anything,
Absolutely.
and so it's amazing that He did that for you.
Yes, it was so neat. It was a huge testimony
Thank
too
you
for
for
my
sharing
husband's
that.
faith, because
Yes.
you know,
You were the
I
one who
initiated
kind of
it,
did the
right?
challenge
And
to
he
God.
thought, oh my goodness, Kim, you know,
Right.
what are you doing? You know,
That's awesome. So he saw God be faithful.
his faith grew as
Yeah.
well out of that entire
That's
experience. So it was
Yeah.
really neat.
Awesome.
I'm grateful.
Thank
I'm
you
thankful.
for sharing. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us on His Stories today. Please share this with anyone that you know that you think it might encourage, or who just needs to know that God does and will intervene in your day-to-day life. But as we can see from Kim, it's really, I think if you're seeking Him and you really want to be obedient, then you'll see more of Him in your life. I think we all have as much as we want of God in our life.
And
So-
I'm just an average everyday person.
Mhm.
I'm not a pastor. I haven't
Right.
gone to Bible college and done studies and that kind of thing. I
Right.
really am just an average
And
believer.
He loves to work through individuals
know?
who, are just everyday people.
Mm-hmm. So
So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on His Stories. God bless. Have a great day.